There's a rule in motorsport that nobody bothers to write down. The moment you call something a one-day job,
you idiot!
The universe quietly begins adding items to the list.
Melted.
Minor floor damages. And it does not stop. That's me. Realizing that this 2-day job, which initially started as a 1-day job, was about to become a 3-day job. To explain how I ended up here, I need to take you back to the beginning of the weekend. We'd just finished round 2 of the Australian Drivers' Championship, and my car had come back to the factory with a small list of jobs. 3 items. Job 1 on that list was an oil change, the only thing not actively trying to ruin my life this weekend. Job 2 was the starter motor, which wasn't actually broken yet, but that was kind of the point. We'd been watching these things drop like flies over the weekend, and I knew of a couple of fixes that I could do to prevent this from happening to me. So every time I started the car up before a race, I was quietly hoping that it wasn't going to end my weekend. And job 3 was my front wing, which I destroyed entirely on my own by running out of talent on the last lap of the last race of the weekend. And to be quite honest, I got lucky that it was only the front wing. 3 jobs, 1 weekend, a comfortable 1-day job if you ask past me. But before I show you how badly that went, let me get you up to speed. After watching the first season of Drive to Survive, I decided to go all in on my motorsport dream. I bought a second-hand go-kart from Facebook Marketplace and started racing it straight away. Then it spiraled so far out of control that I ended up quitting my job to work for HyperRacer, the manufacturer of the X1, a car that races in the Australian Drivers' Championship, the biggest open-wheeler category in the country. And I'm just a bloke who's trying to prove to the world that you don't need a big financial backing to go all in on your motorsport dream. 3 jobs and 1 day to do it. And day 1 of this 1-day job was a Saturday. I operate on a strict order of operations. Not by difficulty, not by urgency, but by how much I personally enjoy doing it. Step 1 of a very organised plan was to clean the car. Step 2 apparently was rain. I've been working in his factory all day, doing a lot of the composite stuff, and I thought I'll clean my car later, just before it gets dark, so then I can work on it all night. I left it to the perfect time and got started right as it started to rain, which is mint. So I pressed on, car's washed, now we're going to fix it. Now a sensible person with a starter motor he doesn't trust and a wing in 2 pieces would start with the starter motor. I, however, chose to start with the graphics, which, funnily enough, was actually not on the list. Now this is, of course, foreshadowing. I don't know what to do. I also don't know what to do. Now eventually, with the graphics out of my system, I decided to be a responsible adult and knock over at least one important job. That, of course, was the easiest one on the list, the oil change. Yeah, I mean, the season's going well so far. Second in the championship. It's all thanks to you, really. The job itself takes about 10 minutes. Setting up to film takes about the rest of the afternoon. I have never once questioned this trade. Well, that looks good. The oil's coming out, which is what you'd expect. You may also notice I'm actually obviously underneath the car, but also the trailer, because I'm not taking this thing off the trailer. That's way too much work. And for how much maintenance I need to do, what's the point? So yeah, we're just going to drain the oil, and we're going to replace the oil filter. Now, you may be thinking, Zach, you're obviously going to cut this oil filter open on your race car, see if there's anything wrong with it. Well, if there was something wrong with it, what the hell am I going to do about it? So we're not going to do that. I'm more in the camp of I'd rather not know that there was an issue. For $4,000, I'll just buy a new motor. So, because what am I going to do? Take it apart? No. Yeah, while I'm down here, the only thing I have noticed is that there is one of the skid plate backed its way off a little bit, which is fine. I think we can, there's enough of a bolt left on there still to just bolt it back in. And the rest of it looks fine. All the skid plate washers look completely fine. We do have some minor floor damages. Now, if you were not me, you'd probably replace this carbon engine cover because they're only like, I think Australian dollars, like $500. So, you know, if you were smart, you'd probably do that. But look, it's still on the car, so I'm not going to take it off. All these bolts are still looking good. Just a little bit filthy under here. That's where I bottomed out and smacked my exhaust a few times. Nothing to worry about there. We'll do the oil change. We'll ignore all these issues and we'll carry on. Oh yeah, for those wondering, this is what my oil looks like. That's just cavitation, that's fine. It looks like oil. A raging success, I would call that one. Look at that. That's pristine. Absolutely oh shit, hang on, look at that. Hyper Racer. Well, very good as a raging success. And now we're gonna fill it with oil. Yes sir, here's a filter. Remove it. Can confirm, there's no gear to lubricate the O-ring, because pop it in. Beautiful, there you go, oil filter, done. Okay, there we go. We now have 4 litres of Pakelo goodness in the car. So I'm going to start it up and we're going to check the oil sight glass. I'll show you that right now and show you how you top off the level. As I was trying to get the engine up to temperature, mainly just so I could kind of run it up, let any build oil and residue burn off, I actually just spotted a little issue here. If we have a look in here, this connector here, you can see it's melted. It hasn't short, I mean, there's nothing to short. This is coming from the stator here. These wires here are coming from the stator, which is essentially the magneto of what effectively is an alternator in a normal car. So they do get quite hot, and that which I had actually replaced because of this issue, and obviously the one that I've used to replace it, and we're going to need to fix that. Now, the one job that I actually had to finish that night was to paint the end plate and flap, which is a deeply boring job, so I filmed absolutely none of it, except for this clip of me explaining that I'd painted it. So what I spent a lot of time last night doing that I didn't really film because it's kind of just not really worth filming was painting the 2 replacement parts for the front wing. That right there, don't want to touch it too much, is your front wing end plate with a spectacular homemade paint job. And then that is the front wing flap that goes on it. Normally it's carbon, but I didn't have the right paint and stuff, so basically I just painted the front black, and then obviously the top's getting wrapped in the red vinyl anyway, and that looks exactly the same as the other side, so that's all sweet. Yeah, you can see when you get some high quality wrap just how easy this stuff is. Alright, so then this bit kind of the easiest way to do this, and then to cut along this. Obviously it doesn't look as good being black, whereas the other side's carbon, but the next thing we need to do is cut the Pakelo sticker that goes on that flap. I'm also going to stick on the vortex generating fins that go on there, and then we can take a look at the rest of the car. So let's go cut some stickers. Alright, so that right here is the black part we're going to do. It goes around this part, which is going to be done in white. Got the vinyl cutter here, so all I really need to do, cut selected, cut now, yes, and then it starts cutting. Alright, so I just swapped over to the white one now. We hit done on that. Now I just need to print this section, cut, and yep, it is as simple as that. Look at that! Now, as I was building those parts, there was one small job that I was supposed to do at the same time. Emphasis on the supposed to do, but it was late. So I told myself I'd come in tomorrow, bolt the wing together, and everything would be fine. Everything was about to be not fine. Alright, so today's actually a new day because I ran out of time yesterday and I found a little bit of time in the morning to get this done. What we're going to be tackling right now is this starter motor repair, or I guess upgrade if you will. Relatively easy to get out. Just got to take this front cover off, and then there's these 2 bolts, and then undo the terminals, and that's it. And then I'll pull it off. So let's do that now. So it was a new day, a new chance to be a responsible adult. So naturally, first things first, I ignored every mechanical task I had to do that day and went on to doing some more graphics because I had an idea, and that idea felt urgent. What I'm thinking is some black lines on the red part, some red lines on the black stuff, but kind of pointy things. I might sort of detail the existing features in the nose cone. So there's this ridge here, but I could put a pretty cool line coming down there. Something on here, maybe even like a bang, bang, fucking bang, something like that. Don't know. On here, like probably just over there, down there, pointy, you know, edged line like that. Cut it off. Let's see what we end up with, but I gotta clean this up first before I do any of that. We'll see what happens. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna get this number off. I need some heat. Alright, number's off. Alright, what's on there? Now to the red. But it didn't not work. Overall, I'm pretty stoked with how that's turned out. So I'll put this here, get rid of that, and I'll show you. That looks pretty sick. I think it looks a lot better than it did. I think that looks pretty good. I think it was the right call putting it up there so you can actually see the black outline, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen it there. That's nice. I'm happy with that. Now we gotta add more lines, add more stickers, and make this thing look a bit better. That's pretty sick, I think. I think all I'm going to do is cut the exact same thing, but with black that goes there, bang, bang, and a black line there, and we're done. There it is now. I am very happy. So now that I'd derailed my entire afternoon by wrapping the nose cone, it was now time to get back to the starter motor that I said I was going to fix 2 hours ago. And then we can take it out. Alright, now that that's all cleaned up, I'll show you what we need to do. First thing here, this spade terminal, they're pretty shit and they can come loose, so that can cause some starter motor dramas. So we're actually just going to take this off and we're going to solder on a new link, that way it cannot come loose. And then we'll pop the back off and I'll show you the next issue. So you can see on the back here, this is the plunger. So as that pushes in, the gear comes out. Now behind this, there's a terminal here and there's one right there. And you might not be able to see it very well, but it's like a paper thin terminal. So it's very prone to snap. I'm just going to try to clean up the inside of it. So this stuff here, whatever that says, is specific for this application, where we can essentially just cover this thing and kind of attach it to the bottom or the case, and that's going to prevent it from vibrating. It's kind of like surrounding it with a cushion, you know. So I'm just going to make sure it's really attached everywhere. And then the final thing is going to be to make sure, as I put this plunger back in, it's not going to interfere with any of this stuff, which it looks like we've done a good job there. And you kind of see in there, I've just shrouded and covered those terminals with that, and that's it. So this can go back on. And I'll get some blue Loctite. Definitely do not need much. Going to just solder on a bit of that and then cover it up. Cool. And then that goes on there. Flip it around that to get us some more clearance. And then yeah, that's not going anywhere anymore, so that problem is fixed. The last and final issue is that on the front of this, these two bolts here that hold the case halves together, oil or air can actually leak through that. And because we have a vacuum being pulled on the crankcase, with air coming through there, it's allowing it to suck oil through it, because there's essentially air flowing into the case from that sucking of the vacuum instead of just vacuum being pulled. So I'm going to pull these off, just going to fill them with some gasket sealer and call it a day. So it's got a bit of Thermobond here. Well, that's a lot. Cover the base of the washer and that, and send it home. Same with this one. Beautiful. And for one beautiful stretch of the afternoon, it seemed like I actually had this handled. So I'd fixed the starter motor. That was most certainly a job that I was neglecting and regretting doing, but I'm very happy that it's finally done. So starter motor's on there, connected to starter relay here. Now I guess the obvious, really important part is to make sure that the car actually starts. So that is what we're going to do right now. All right, I killed the kill switch, back on. As you can probably hear, I need to fix this exhaust rattle. You can see that bracket is bent backwards from where I've slammed the bottom of the car into something and it's hit the exhaust and pushed it back. So that's a relatively easy fix, which I'll do probably later. Now by Sunday evening, the only thing standing between me and a completely finished car, or let's say a kind of finished car, was bolting the front wing together. And I was so sure of this that I decided to film myself explaining how easy it is to bolt the front wing back together. Alright, so it's finally time to put this front wing back together. I did pop the nose cone on there really quickly because, well, it looks awesome. This is all pretty simple. There's 3 bolts on this side, there's the flap adjuster bracket, and you kind of just bolt it all together, which I'm going to do now. Now this is me realizing that I never glued the threaded bosses back into the main plane. So they're currently sitting in the infield of Calder Park Raceway. Now here's the best part. The bosses being gone wasn't even a surprise. I knew that I had to glue these threaded bosses back into the wing, and it was supposed to be done when I was painting the flaps. Is that what I did? Absolutely not. So now, all I had to do was glue threaded bosses back into the main plane, come back tomorrow on Monday after work, put the front wing back together, and everything would be fine. So you wouldn't believe it, but it's actually the next day. Another day has passed and I still have not fixed my race car. Now what I've just gone ahead and done is installed this electrical connector on the stator. As I said, the other one was melted. As you can see, that is no good. This is very good. That's a Deutsch DTP maybe, something. Anyway, high voltage, high temp, good connector. So that should be much better. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the wrong bolt. You idiot! He's done. Fucking idiot. Like a new car, mate. Like a bloody new car. This is the steering wheel on the X1. These are the legends who contributed to the Formula Masters tier. So they're going to go on my steering wheel. Here we go. Jebediah Nugent, Rylan Lee. Seriously, cannot thank you guys enough. But we've still got a whole bunch more to put on, so let's go do that. Alright, there's 3 more names. I think I'm going to put them on the nose cone somewhere, so let's figure that out. Alright, well the camera died, but Formula Legends here, Low Sherman, David Ferroni, Boone Ye Ewan, all the other heroes here, Russell, Rylan Leach, Russell Owen, Koala Tank, Levante Sabo, sorry I probably butchered that, Nathan Jones, Hayden Williams, Christian Brogard, J Sims Racing, Leon Berg, Banshee, come around the other side, all these legends too, Nathan Pavlinsko, Robert Merkel, Stuart B, Dominic Lee, Rylan Leach again. He's actually a Formula Master, so he gets his name on here a few times. Toby Harrison, Campbell Hicks, Dave L, Burke Dempsey. Thank you guys so much. You are the reason that I'm able to do this and that we get to go racing. See you all in the next one. So that's what Monday after work became. Fitting the connector I couldn't buy on Sunday, bolting together the wing whose bosses I'd finally glued in the night before, installing the new nose cone, and putting every Patreon name back on the car. 3 days to do 1 day of work. And the maths never worked because it was never going to. And in hindsight, the jobs were never really the problem. It was most certainly me. But the car's back together and the names of the people who actually helped pay for all of this racing are on the car where they belong. So that in my books is a win. Now all I have to do is not crash the thing. We'll see how that goes.